friends, it's Jada. Welcome to my channel. You may have seen my content from Instagram, and if so, it's nice to see you. If you came here from my first video where I introduced the channel, nice to see you again. Regardless, I want to kind of have a little story time today about why I'm here, why adult skating. How do you get into this? How do you start adult skating? A lot of people always ask me when I tell them I'm a skater, like, how did you even start that? So picture 2018. It was the year of the Winter Olympics, and I was too concerned with college stuff to even bother watching. I love figure skating. I love snowboarding. Don't really get down with the bobsled and the skeleton too much, but I was busy, so I didn't touch it. 2018 was also the year that I was kind of trying to do this influencer thing, not in skating though, actually in travel blogging, if you could believe it or not. So there was this little community for Lyft locally in Philadelphia. We didn't get a whole lot of stuff out of this community, but we did get free tickets, skate rental, and admission to the Blue Cross River Rink in Philadelphia to skate for free. It was great. So I took my friend as my plus one on the 24th of February. And this normally costs $14 per person. We got it for absolutely $0. It was great. There was a few people on the ice, not that many, and I hadn't skated since I was in 9th grade on a field trip, and I don't really recall ever really liking ice skating that much. I've been a few times before in various field trips, but I don't know, skating was never really something that really like took my attention. I was in dance on and off in my life, but I was never sporty. I was just, you know, this person who did a lot of schoolwork and watched a lot of YouTube. So the question really is, why would I even go to this free event knowing I don't really like doing stuff? I had this little thing, it was a list, I'll put it up, that was just me trying to do things outside of my comfort zone, and I really wanted to make sure that I was giving myself the best chance of life that didn't involve just sitting in my bedroom and on campus all day reading and not doing a whole lot of really productive things. So that's why I really wanted to make sure that I was doing stuff that interested me but maybe scared me a little bit. So the first few laps were terrifying. I didn't really know what I was doing, but somehow I skated around and around, and at some point I got really fast. I only fell a couple times. Skate rentals suck, but I made it. And a week went by, and suddenly I couldn't stop thinking about skating. I was in class thinking about skating. I was doing homework thinking about skating. I went to the US Figure Skating website. I was like, I need more of this. I don't know what I need to do. I need to skate more. And I really would love to learn how to skate. I was quite frankly infatuated, and I didn't really know how to get rid of this thought. So I looked up, and University of Pennsylvania, that is right next to my campus at Drexel, they have an ice rink. And not only do they have an ice rink, they actually had learn to skate classes for adults and kids. But they had classes for adults, and they were starting in 2 weeks from when I looked. There was a lot of soul searching in the middle of the night when I'm like, do I sign up for these classes? Because I can't stop thinking about this. I have now learned every discipline in figure skating in the matter of a few days, and I learned that there's adult skating. Whatever that meant, I didn't know that much about adult skating at the time, but I knew that I wanted to do it. So I sat and you know what? I'm going to just register for this 5 or 6 week lesson pack. I was just gonna test it out. So right before I decided to put in my name for these lessons, I went to Penn during a public session in the middle of the day between classes, and I skated by myself. So there was one more contingency. I needed to just try one more time to skate. So I brought my boyfriend back to River Rink. We paid full price and we skated again, and I loved it, and I was like, okay, screw it, we're gonna do it. So I put my name in, and I was like, okay, we're doing this. 2 weeks and 1 day after that free ticket, I was taking my first learn skate lesson in rentals. And it was awful. Those rentals were awful. I couldn't swizzle, I couldn't stroke, I couldn't pump, I could barely stand. They were so bad. And I was worried that I made a mistake. But instead of worrying about making a mistake, I made the decision to, 3 days later, go to the Philadelphia Skating Club and buy brand new skates. Went immediately to the rink and skated on them. It was mildly terrifying, but I suddenly could skate. I swizzled. I did all these things that I was like, I know I can halfway do this. Why can't I do this? And so that really just kind of got the ball rolling for me. So with each passing week, my skills grew and grew, and I realized that I couldn't wait until September for Penn's next session to start. So I looked into it and I saw that the Havertown Stadium had another 6-week learn to skate kind of course for adults. So I signed up for that too. We're not going to talk about how much money I have spent up until this point. I went on to this next group and I was actually kind of disappointed because it was not as structured as Penn's. They didn't follow the adult learn to skate curriculum. So I was really just kind of stuck learning crossovers and T-stops for 6 weeks. So then, because I am annoying, I didn't just like, you know, kind of tough it out and just teach myself stuff. No, I taught myself stuff and I reached out to the skating director at Skadium and got who is now my current coach. So I want you to take this timeline. We have February, where I got this first lesson. 2 weeks later, I am now taking lessons. 5 weeks after that, I have passed 2 levels. And now 6 weeks after this, I am privately coached. That's where we are so far in the timeline. Now, I reached out to the skating director and said that I wanted a coach that was proficient in ice dancing because I wanted to do solo ice dance. I learned a dance, pattern dance, the first lesson. I learned Dutch waltz and it was bad, but I was excited because it wasn't crossovers. I mean, it was crossovers, but it wasn't just crossovers and T-stops. It actually felt like I was moving towards something. So I finished my group lessons in May, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to do group lessons anymore. We're just gonna pay my really expensive coach. We worked on the Dutch waltz and the canasta tango, and in August, taking 2 pattern dance tests. And not to mention, I passed them both. So now I usually stop the story here because I think that this kind of neatly puts together just how quickly my figure skating journey has been up until this point. But I wanted to really highlight something that has really come up to me in the past few months as we've been dealing with this global event. Like, I fell into skating. Skating kind of found me rather than me finding skating. I remember the first year feeling like this weird sense of imposter syndrome. I started skating randomly. I didn't grow up loving skating as a sport that I personally wanted to do. And I also suddenly became so infatuated with something that I wasn't sure that it was going to last. I was concerned that 6 months into having bought $180 figure skates that I wasn't going to like this anymore. And now I'm 3 pairs of figure skates and 2 pairs of roller skates in, and I have no plans on stopping. In fact, I just passed my first bronze level pattern dance test, the Willow Waltz, not too long ago. And I'm working on Hickory Hoedown and Ten Fox, and I'm working on bronze and silver moves, and I want to get the gold medals for all of the things that I'm working on now. I want to do senior moves. I want to do up to international dances. I want to maybe go back and do partnered at some point. You know, there's just so many things that now I am into, and I would say most of my friends now are actually friends that I met through skating at this point. I would say of all the friends I have now, I have some friends from high school, some friends even smaller from college, and I have a ton of friends from skating at this point because it really has become a part of my life. If you can take away one lesson from this video, it's that you can pursue anything that you want to if you can figure out a way to make it work. I know that I was in a privileged position where I could kind of drop money here and there, even though my savings account wasn't a lot because I was living home. I didn't do a whole lot of other things with my life, and my parents take care of most of my expenses. But even as an adult that I'm paying back loans, I'm back in school, you know, I have all these new expenses now, but I still somehow try to make skating work, even if it's in ways that aren't necessarily what I want them to be. I would love to skate every day for hours and hours on end, but I can't afford it. And back then I relied on public sessions for most of my skating, which is something I know that most of us can't do right now. If I let the little voice in my head tell me that I shouldn't do something because it was scary, I wouldn't have started skating. I wouldn't have studied abroad in South Korea. I probably wouldn't have necessarily even gone to college. I don't know where life would have taken me now had I listened to my fears. And if fear is the only thing that's stopping you, if you have the privilege and the means to do things that you want to do and you're just afraid, I say just go for it. Just try it and see what happens. I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing my journey into the world of figure skating. If there's anything about this world that you'd like to hear, even if you're not a skater, that maybe you might just think is interesting to know, please let me know in the comments. Sometimes I forget what's exactly common knowledge and what's not, because I've been in this and really deep in this for a long time now. So I live and breathe figure skating, and a lot of people come to me with random like encyclopedic type advice because I kind of study the rule book at this point, so I know a lot of things except for synchro. I don't know a lot about synchro, but I'm learning, so if anybody wants to teach me more about synchro, let me know. So if you like this video, please do me a big favor and hit the thumbs up right below, right around here. Yes, please do it. Also, if you like this video and want to hear more, please consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean the world to me. I know that we don't have a whole lot on this channel right now, but I really am working on it. I am working so hard to make this channel work this time. And if you want to make sure that YouTube doesn't screw you out of knowing when I post a video, please hit the bell icon next to the subscription button. I want to make adult skating a big thing. I want us to be on a much wider scale than we are right now. I want everybody to know that they can be an adult skater. We can just take over the world of figure skating. Screw the kids, we're adults, we can do it. And last but not least, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I post a little bit more often than I do here, not by much. You can see a lot of my skating progression. I do a lot of twizzles, a lot of pattern dances, a lot of turns. And I also just some like random nonsense that I talk about as a social work student. Okay, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!